Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning to our Patient and Family Partnership Hub, our community conversation. So glad you're all able to join us today. All right. And just to go over a few Zoom features that we all might know, but it's always good to get a little refresher. If you would like to use the chat, please feel free to use the chat. I actually just put a message for interpretation services. So you can choose one. I know Lindsay shared it as well. Thank you, Lindsay, for those folks that are coming in. You can go ahead and choose your language. We have English and Spanish available. You can also, again, use the chat to comment, to ask questions, to share. We have one more person coming in. And you can go ahead and also use the reactions. I don't use them as often, but I think that this would be a good feature to start using. You can always raise your hand. Again, right now we are a small group. I think once we get larger and larger, we might use this feature a little bit more. But for now, for our meeting, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself when we're talking, share your thoughts and opinions. But if you'd like, you can use this feature to raise your hand. There's a thumbs up. There's, smiley faces. There's all kinds of features you can use, which I think are pretty fun when we're in like a Zoom conversation, which is a little bit different, a lot different actually than an in-person conversation. So there, again, just some Zoom features that we might know of, some that are new to us. And again, thank you for joining us. Today, we are recording our meetings. We're recording them so we can share them out and share all the information that we share here and get it out in the community. And we have live transcripts available. So if that is an option for you, if you request it. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to do our welcome. As you all know, we pretty much call on everyone every morning when we have our meetings. We're going to do our short introductions. We are going to talk about the LDP alumni reunion, and that is the Leadership Development Program alumni reunion that happened in August. And we're going to get a little recap of it. And we're going to have a short discussion because we have our speaker here today with us. We're going to also talk about the HPDP program, and Myra is here to share some information about that. And we're going to go over the DHS access and visit form that we created for all of you to really get a little bit of more information about your visits and how that access is for all of you. Hello, thank you for joining us, Maria. Hello. I see some cameras are on, so I'm glad to see. So this is our agenda for today. And now I'm going to pass it over to Mike so he can share a little bit about DHS. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Lucero. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Patient and Family Partnership Hub community conversation. Thank you so much for taking time from your day and joining us. Please know that we appreciate and value your time tremendously and that you are helping shape healthcare services for all of our LA County community. Again, welcome everyone. Bienvenidos a todos. In a minute, we'll do introductions. In addition to our PFCC partner today is Lucy from our that will be helping us by simultaneously translating our conversation in Spanish, and vice versa, will be helping our Spanish-speaking patient family partners join in our conversation. My name is Miguel Renteria. I go by Mike, and I'm an improvement advisor for DHS. My work evolves on patient experience and supporting our culture of patient-family engagement throughout our health system. Our mission is to advance the health of our patients and our communities by providing extraordinary care. Our goals range from transforming our system to provide cost-effective care of the whole patient across the continuum, optimize clinical quality and patient experience, to have a high-performing workforce, and ensure financial viability in support of our vision. Today, we are moving towards our mission by advancing on our strategic goal of providing high-quality care and patient experience through engaging your voice to help us in our work. Your voice, your views, and insights are incredibly important to our work, so thank you again for taking time off your day and joining us here this morning. We are looking forward to having a rich conversation today, and with that, I'll pass it back over to Lucero.
Thank you so much, Mike. And again, for those of you who don't know me just yet, and I am Lucero. I am with PFCC Partners. And I'm just going to share a little bit about PFCC Partners. So our mission is to center the inclusive human experience of health, reinvent through radical collaboration, be a catalyst for system transformation. Our vision is a health system transformed, one that works with people and through communities as a partner in their well-being. And our values include equity, inclusion, diversity, collaboration, and being solution focused. And now we're going to do a little bit of introductions. I'll start off myself with my name and where I am calling from. And the question this month that I have for all of you is, what is your favorite meal or drink of choice during fall? We are entering the fall season. I am very happy about that. So I'll go ahead and start. My name is, once again, Lucero Cuevas. I am calling in from our Long Beach office, so here in Long Beach, California. And my favorite meal for fall, I love all things pumpkin, and my husband happens to work at Trader Joe's, and as soon as the fall items come out, I request a pumpkin bagel with pumpkin cream cheese. And it sounds really odd, but it is delicious. So if anyone enjoys pumpkin or pumpkin flavors, I highly recommend that. So I will go ahead and turn it over to I'll start with Lindsay. She's right next to me in my little squares.
Yes, hi everyone. It's great to see you all this morning. I'm Lindsay Galley. I'm the Vice President of Programs at PFCC Partners. Work closely with Lucero. I'm actually located in Sacramento, California, up north, but our office and where Lucero is in Long Beach. I think my favorite meal for the fall is literally any kind of soup. I recently did a cooking class last Friday with a bunch of friends, and we made a German potato soup, and it was so good, and I can't wait to make it when it gets a little bit more chilly up here.
Oh, that sounds delicious, actually. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm gonna move on to Maria. Maria, what is your, where are you calling from, and your favorite meal or drink during the fall? Maria Montes. She's right next to Lindsay on my little squares.
Pues buenos días. Mi nombre es María.
Well, good morning. My name is Maria Montes. I am in the city of San Pedro, not far. And my favorite meal, it could be pozole. And I love the champurrados with chocolate. That is what I love to eat during this time. I love to eat that. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Okay, I'm definitely going to be hungry after this. That sounds delicious right now, actually. Thank you, Maria. And I'm going to move on to Maria Vasquez.
Hola, buenos días.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. My name is Maria Vasquez. At this time, I'm on Wilshire and Vermont close. And my favorite meal would be, I love anything to do with corn, especially if you eat it with cheese or with pumpkin. I just love it. And my favorite drink would be chocolate and champurrado. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. That champurrado sounds delicious, delicious. I can only have a little bit though. I don't know if when you all try it, it's a lot. It's very good, but it's a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to Michelle. And Michelle, it's okay if you're not ready at this time. I'll go ahead and go to Mike.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Mike, and today I'm calling in from San Fernando Valley. My favorite meal, I think I'm with Maria, both Marias and Maria in terms of sopas or soups. I'm really looking forward to pozole season, which is like a pork stew soup with corn kettles, and an albondiga soup, which is like a meatball soup. So definitely looking forward to the soups this coming season.
That actually sounds albondigas. It sounds delicious too, Mike. Myra.
Hi everyone, good morning. I'm calling from Azusa, California. My role, well, just to let the people on the call know, well, I'm from DHS. My primary responsibility is creating program that assist patients with chronic conditions and how we can help them manage those conditions. But so again, I'm calling in from Azusa. My go-to drink during fall season, I would say, is hot chocolate. Champorado sounds really good. That's probably the best kind of hot chocolate. I'm not sure if you're considered hot chocolate, but yes, it's really good. It's hard to stop once you start eating it. We also get it with the bread to dip on the champorado. So yes, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Myra. And I have Olivia. Would you like to share?
Hola, buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Olivia.
Hello, good morning to everyone. I'm calling from the city of Los Angeles. My favorite meal, I think, would be more like dessert. So I think anything with cooked pumpkin with a glass of milk. And that is what I love during this time.
That sounds very comforting. That sounds delicious. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you. And I'm just gonna check to see, Michelle, were you ready to share, or I can go ahead and
Okay, yes.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you.
My name is Michelle. I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I think I would enjoy some spiced tea and some type of toasted bread or some kind of sweet bread or something like that. Spiced tea would look like cinnamon, pump seasonings, pumpkin stuff, and hot, preferably.
Hot meals. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to it. And we're just starting to cool down here in the LA area. And by cool down, I mean like 80s this week. So I'm definitely looking forward to maybe just a little cooler weather so we can enjoy all of these great, great foods we have in mind. Thank you everyone for sharing. Now, I don't think I missed anyone. No, I don't think so. Okay, we are going to start off with a little recap of the Leadership Development Program reunion. And I'm going to pass it over to Mike for now, just so he can explain it for us. And then we'll go ahead and ask some questions.
Thank you, Lucero. Yes, so this past month in August, we had our Leadership Development Program alumni reunion. And what this Leadership Development Program is a cohort or a group of our managers, supervisors, directors, leaders from across the health system, from our hospitals, from our ambulatory care network, from many different programs across the Department of Health Services. These leaders get certain trainings and workshops and go through different workshops to really engage them and challenge them on how to be a better leader within DHS. And this last month, we had a reunion in which we invited all leaders, probably a little over 400 leaders from across our health system participated in this reunion to come together, right? And really reflect upon the work that they have both done since participating in the program and what to look forward to. We had leaders such as our Director of Health Services, Dr. Christina Galli, attend the event both days to really share what's in store for DHS moving forward. We had Danielle Gott, who just joined DHS as our Director of Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, and Anti-Racism. We got a chance to hear from her and really seeing what work is in line in terms of our EDIA work. And then we also invited a few different groups from the health system in breakout sessions, one of them being Libby Hoy of our PFCC partners. And really, she really did a great job in sharing with folks on how to better engage with our patient and family members, and again, to help us shape up our work. And our keynote speaker for that day was Maria Montes. And again, gracias otra vez más, Maria. Thank you again for joining us that day and really highlighting for us why we do what we do. Really kind of Maria shared her story in terms of really, advising us or sharing with us her story on what we're doing well and what we can do better, right? In terms of access, in terms of better communications, in terms of education. So, it was a great opportunity for Maria to share on both days, because it was a 2-day event with both days, to over 400 of our leaders across our health system to kind of take in and really kind of think about why we do what we do and really kind of think about how we can do it better. We've had a couple different folks reach out, really wanting to engage more with Maria. So we are in conversations, we're going to be in conversation with Maria pretty soon to see how we could continue to collaborate in our future work. But it was a great day, or a great 2-day event last month. We had great weather. It was at the California Endowment Center here in downtown Los Angeles. We had really great weather and a really great turnout. And again, thank you, Maria, for supporting the event last month.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you. And thank you, Maria, for attending the event and speaking at the event. We do want to ask some questions, Maria, because we want to know, as our hub member, your experience. So if you were to share with us, how was your experience overall at the event?
Pues buenos días otra
Well,
vez a todos.
good morning again to all of you.
Pues, antes que nada, agradecer a
And
todos
before I
por
say
invitarme.
anything, I want to
Fue una
thank you all
experiencia muy
for
bonita.
inviting me. It was a
Fue
beautiful
algo
experience. It was
formidable para
something
mí, en
that
verdad.
was formidable
Es
for me,
saber que
just to
tanta
know
gente
that
está
there were
interesada
so
en
many
cómo
people who are
mejorar la salud
interested
de
in
las
how to
personas.
improve
Y es algo
the
muy
health
bonito
service for
porque quieren
people.
escuchar cómo nos
It's something
sentimos.
beautiful because they
Entonces,
really wanted to hear how
fue
we
una
felt.
gran experiencia
So for
inolvidable.
me, it was a huge and
Y me sentí
unforgettable
muy
experience.
orgullosa, muy
I felt
agradecida
proud.
por
I
todas
felt
las personas que
honored.
estaban ahí.
There were so many
Todos
people
fueron
there,
muy amables.
and they were all so
Ah,
kind to me. And
me daban gracias, pero yo creo que las gracias se las debo de dar yo a ustedes.
I think I really want to thank you instead of you
Sentí muy
thanking
bonito
me.
que
I
vieran
felt
mi
like it was
corazón, hacer
beautiful,
cambios
and that you would want to
estamos
not
preocupados
only
por la
improve
calidad,
but
por la
make
salud de
change,
las
and that you're
personas,
really care about our
escuchaban de forma
community and
interesada
people's
que a
health.
pesar de que hacen un
Hearing so
trabajo
many people
maravilloso
so
y
interested
ayudan a
at
las
doing
personas,
marvelous work, trying to
todavía
help so many
quieren
people,
mejorar.
and they
Eso
still
se
want to
siente
improve
muy
it even more.
gratificante
So for
para mí,
me,
para
it
toda
was
la
just so
comunidad.
gratifying in
Sé
all of
también
our community just to
dejarles que
see that
han habido
although
retos, como les digo, ha
there
habido
have
retos,
been
ha habido cambios,
challenges
pero
and
todo se han
changes,
visto para bien,
but
son
all of these changes are for
para
the
mejorar.
better,
Y
to
pues ahí
improve.
echándole ganas
And
todos
so we're doing all
para
our
mejorar
best
todo el
to
sistema de
improve
salud, y tanta gente
the
tan
health
interesada
system,
que quiere
and love to
seguir
see all those
aplicando
people that
más
are
de lo
so
que es.
interested in wanting to do more.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for sharing that. I know that it was a positive experience for you, but was there any part of when you were speaking that was important for you to share and something that you would want to share with us here in the hub?
Pues lo más
Well,
importante
the most important
es los servicios que ustedes
was
proporcionan. Por
the
ejemplo,
services
una de
that
las
you
cosas que
give. For
me ha
example,
beneficiado
one of the things that benefit me a lot is that, like the young lady that's here with the chronic infirmities, sometimes we get these illnesses and we just don't care for ourselves because we're a mother or a father or a grandpa, or I'm a grandmother, and we don't have time for ourselves. We say tomorrow, the next day, because we're so busy. But thanks to this program, somebody calls you and they say, hey, is there an issue? Is something wrong? Maybe they're not answering you because of your language. Sometimes there's clinics that only work on certain days. So they call you and they tell you, is there an issue? Is there a problem? And if you tell them, they try to do the appointment for you. They try to help you. And that in itself, really picks you up. It makes you feel like, hey, if they're worried about me, I need to worry about myself. I need to give myself the time to get better. So not only for me, but for my family.
Definitely. So just finding out that there are programs out there and there's so much help available, and we can spread the word as best we can in our community. That's great, Maria. Thank you so much for that. And is there any advice? I know we sort of asked, if there's anyone that would want to speak at this event, and you graciously just, volunteered your time, and you spoke at this event, and you've never done anything like this. I know you and I talked a little bit about it. Is there any advice or anything you would want to share with the group here, in case another opportunity comes up and we want to get the voices out there? We want people to share and share their experiences. Is there any advice you have for maybe community members, hub members that are, maybe this is their first time hearing about this, maybe there's other opportunities in the future to speak out or share their experiences? Is there anything you would share with them?
Pues sí, yo como les
Well,
digo, yo
yes,
soy promotora
as I said earlier, I'm a promotora de salud, health promoter. And for me, prevention is huge. More than anything, it's number one. Yes, I would like to share that we should all support each other, because at the end of the day, when you get sick, it'll be a bigger problem, not only for you, but your whole family will be involved, rather than to prevent, just to, my mom had Alzheimer's as well. So there are certain things that, of course, you can't avoid, but there are things that you can maybe do, slow down, like diabetes. And maybe because of the change of life, there are things that I would like to encourage everyone. Don't be afraid. Say how you feel. And thankfully, you give us that opportunity, because honestly, it is a big opportunity to have you hear from us, the patients, so and you have your hand on the pulse of what's going on. And let's continue with what's happening little by little, all of us together. We can make those changes. They're always good. And let's keep, encouraging everyone. I tell my friends, go to the clinic. This morning I spoke to someone about high blood pressure because she doesn't take her medicine. I go, no, you have to take your medicine, because, ask your doctor what's happening with you. So it's gratifying to all of us, and keeping into account that our health is huge. If you have your health, you can get a job, you can get so many things, money. But when you don't have your own health, can't do anything. You're just depending on other people, and later you have to have a good quality of life, not quantity, mostly quality. And I'm sorry, I wanted to mention the mental health issue. We have to take very good care. After the pandemic, a lot of us were affected mentally by the pandemic. And then there's a lot of suicide. There's just way too much of that going on. And I think that it's important that we all take care. Doctors, nurses, firemen, police officers, parents, children. We need to really protect our mental health. There have been way too many changes, and we need to have something that we can lean on, because that is hugely important. So it's not just the physical, but it's the mental as well.
Thank you so much, Maria. You brought up a great point about being patients and being caregivers, and how it's so important to take care not only of our health, but anyone else, you know, we're caring for, or like you mentioned, you're sharing with people, you have to take your medication, you have, you know, take care of yourself, because that's really, we can't help others, right? If we don't help ourselves, we can't do what we want to do as patients, as caregivers, as family members, if we don't take care of our health. And also, like you mentioned, Maria, as well, to speak, right? To speak up. You were very, you know, courageous. It was your one of your first times just speaking in a huge crowd like that, and you spoke on so many topics that are so important to all of us. So I really want to take that message with us, that you know, we take care of ourselves, we take care of others, and if there's an opportunity for us to maybe speak out, maybe share our thoughts, our experiences, and this is a great place for that in our community conversations we have every month. So we do encourage, you know, if there's, you know, people you know that might benefit from this, please feel free to share this information and our community that we have here and that we are growing. So once again, Maria, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, for motivating us, for encouraging us to continue to speak, to share our experiences with those that are here to listen. So again, we really appreciate you, Maria. And as you were also speaking, Maria, on the topic of health, we have Myra here. I'm going to move on just quickly here. Here we go. We have Myra here from the HPDP program, which is the Health Promotion Disease Prevention Program. So we're going to get a lot of information today. I'm going to pass it on to Myra so she can give us a rundown and explanation, and then we can go ahead and share any questions anyone might have with Myra here. Thank you, Myra.
Thank you, Lucero. Well, thank you. Maria, I just wanted to reiterate what Lucero mentioned. I was at the LDP alumni, and hearing your message, hearing your story, that's like what made me reach out to Mike about, like, you know, really getting the perspective of the patient, because it's true, we wanted to do good for the patient, we wanted to create program for the patient, but then sometimes we're so focused on like creating the program, and we forgot to ask the patient themselves, like, is this really what you need? Is this really what's helpful to you? So thank you, Maria, for sharing your story last time, and that's why here I am today, trying to get, you know, your feedback as patients, or all of you. So thank you for giving me time to present this program that we are developing. Again, the aim is just to really help our patients manage their conditions. So I will be very, very appreciative if you can, you know, give me your feedback, give me your suggestions and recommendations on how we can make this program more successful and really more helpful to patients. So the program that I'm presenting to you guys today, it's the Health Promotion and Disease Prevention Program. This is a program under Population Health Management. Basically, this program aims to identify patients with chronic conditions, so those with diabetes, hypertension, and what we wanted to do is to identify those patients and help those patients get connected to the services that we already have. We acknowledge and recognize that not all different facilities, not all of our DHS facilities have the same services. You know, one facility may have this, the other may not have it. And at the same time, we also recognize that sometimes not all processes is the same. You know, like maybe one facility, it's easier to get a referral to a social worker, where it's a different pathway or a different process in another facility. So this program, what we really wanted to do is make sure that that process is streamlined and same across all DHS facilities, so that all patients with that chronic condition will have the same services or have the same access to those services. The first chronic condition that we are tackling, the main focus that we have right now, are patients with hypertension. So like the ones with high blood pressure. So what we wanted to do is identify those patients. We developed texting campaign, like we send out text messages to the patients that we identify to have high blood pressure and that their blood pressure is not controlled, meaning it's higher than 140. It's quite high. So we identified those patients, and then what we did is we started sending text messages, calling the patients, and sent them a postcard, basically prompting them and telling them that regular blood pressure check is helpful. Get your appointment scheduled today, because what we wanted to do is schedule those patients to nurse visit appointment. During the nurse visit appointment, the patient will have their blood pressure taken. The nurse will assess them, and depending on their condition, the nurse will ask them certain questions about their medication adherence. Are they taking their blood pressure at home? Are they following up with their provider? And depending on the situation of the patient, then that nurse can initiate a referral. Right now, we have 4 services that we are connecting the patients to. We have the health education program, where when we refer you to a health educator, basically the main question in that one is, are you willing to attend a health education class? If you say yes, the nurse will send that referral to the health education team. Then someone from the health education team contact the patient and assess the patient if they're willing to do classes or session, and they'll schedule them. If that class or session is not available in their facility, in the clinic where they go to, they can be scheduled to another facility if they are able to go there. If they're not able to go there, they can schedule a one-to-one session with a health educator just to go over with them, like, just teaching them what is blood pressure, how do you really control your blood pressure, what are the different food that you should be looking at. So that's the health education program. We also have a nurse-directed titration clinic. There are certain criteria for that, depending on the medication that you're taking, depending on your compliance to the medication, and depending on your blood pressure level, we may be able to refer you to the nurse-directed clinic, where you see the nurse regularly and they help adjust your medication until you meet that target BP. So each individual has a target blood pressure that they should be looking at. Mostly in general, the blood pressure should be below, for hypertensive patient, the blood pressure should be below 140/90. So like the titration nurse will help you with the medication adjustment, collaboration with the provider, until they lower down your blood pressure. We also have are you guys able to hear me okay still? Okay. We also have enhanced care management. Again, if the patient qualifies for it, we connect you with a care manager, who actually, a nurse, is kind of like an assigned nurse who follows up with you every step of the way in all aspects of your health, not only hypertension. They call you, making sure that you attend your appointment, help you make that appointment. So again, there's certain criteria for that, to have an assigned care manager, but we can with that as well. And lastly, we have the behavioral health integration team, or our social worker, community health workers, who can help the patient, help you get connected to resources that that may not necessarily be medical. It can be, like food security. Like if you need help with finding like resources for healthier food, like food pantry, food voucher. They can also connect you with housing, if there's any housing insecurities or any other issues, even though it's not related to clinical, because we know that everything that affects us affects our blood pressure. If you're stressed about something, it will affect your blood pressure. So what we wanted to do is connect you with a social worker. The social worker will contact you, and then they will assess on what are those needs, and then they'll help you connect with those. So the main reason that I'm reaching out to you for your feedback. So this is the idea that we have, right? But what I wanted to know from your perspective as patient is, how can we do it successfully? So right now, what we're doing for patients who have at least one primary care visit in the past 12 months, we sent text messages, both in English or Spanish, depending on the patient's preferred language. We sent a postcard, and we sent a postcard, and we also do like calling the patient to get them connected with the nurse, to get them scheduled with the nurse to start the process. For those patients who have not seen their primary care doctor in the past 12 months, we are also doing the same thing. We just sent them postcards last week. Postcards went out just to prompt them to call, so that our call center team can help those patients get scheduled with a primary care doctor. So if they haven't seen their doctor in the past 1 year, they get scheduled first with their primary care doctor. If they've seen their primary care doctor within 1 year, then they get scheduled to the nurse clinic so that they can start this process. But what I wanted to know is, like, if as patients, what is the most effective way for us to connect you to these services? Is connecting you to the nurse helpful, or do you prefer to just like talk to the doctor? Or like, what are the things that you would like us to keep in mind in developing this program? I know sometimes I understand, like, being a clinic nurse before, I understand making an appointment, going to an appointment you'll probably have to take the entire day off just to make a one appointment. I wanted to hear those. Or like, is it helpful if we just do, maybe can you do a nurse appointment via phone or via video? I wanted to hear all of those feedback so we can incorporate that as we plan this program.
Thank you so much, Myra. Is there anyone that would like to share some thoughts, some feedback with Myra? Maria Montes, please feel free to unmute yourself.
Pues mire, yo creo que a veces
Well, I believe that sometimes people, they don't take the time for ourselves, because sometimes it's very, very complicated. Every single person is different. First, we need to classify what type of person is that and what kind of help that she needs. Sometimes also, I was thinking, because I said, how can we help ourselves? Sometimes we have to say that blood pressure is too high, but we don't say about the consequences of that. So what we have to emphasize, like I said it to my partner this morning, you have to take your medication, because at the long time, it might cause more problem. I'm not a doctor. I was just telling what I know that might can affect your kidney on the long run because of your high blood pressure. Unfortunately, we the Latinos and many other people from all kind of life, we don't say, I don't take the medication because it's gonna cost me something else. There is so many myths in the community, because they don't take the medication because they believe that it's gonna have side effects. Another reality that we have is that most people just they auto medicate. So, and sometimes we don't know what we're taking and what is what we need. So that is very, very important, that people, we need to assimilate that it's not good to do that, to self-medicate or just taking the medication. And I put that as an example. I stopped taking my medication because I say I feel good, I don't need it anymore. However, when I went to the doctor and I said your pressure is too high, and I say, oh my God, who is guilty about that? And I said myself. So what happens sometimes, we don't take care of ourselves. Now I prioritize about myself, and when I have a question, I ask, because if I'm afraid that this medication might have other side effects, and I don't ask the expert, I don't have to go to my comadre and ask her. So what we need is that the doctor tell us what are the risks if we don't take the medication. And I don't want to take too much of your time, but like my mother, for example, she used to say, I don't take the medication for the, I don't remember for what was the pill, for the kidney, for example. They give her a pill and said, no, I'm not gonna take it because that is making damage to, and I said, you need to ask the doctor, and you are putting yourself at risk. Why don't you take your medication? And that is happening very often in our community. But at the end, she ended in dialysis. So that's make me see that in reality, we need to take care of ourselves. If we don't see it until we have a family member that is already in that situation. Sometimes we don't know what is dialysis, but if we explain it, dialysis is something that a person has to go to a clinic for 4 hours that is going to clean their blood. So it's going to doing the, so all of that, if we explain it, what are the consequences if they don't take care of themselves that might have more impact? Like for example, the cigarette. There is many people that they even put a warning that this might kill you, and people still smoking. But I don't smoke, but there are other people that they do. So it is very hard to control something. But if they give you what are the consequences, so maybe that might educate that can happen, and we are not going to be afraid to take the medication. And maybe the nurses have to tell us how this medication work, if you feel this way or this other way, because not everybody has to take the same medication. There is, for example, there are people that they change their diet, they change their medication. So, and that is individual for every single one. So I have so many things to say that if you give me this opportunity, I will have to say it, because I believe that I know the importance of to be healthy.
Thank you so much, Maria. I really appreciate you sharing your feedback. You mentioned a lot of, explaining to patients the risk, and maybe even explaining some misconceptions. You talked about how there's a lot of talk in the community about, even without going to the doctors, just talking to other people in the community, and you might get some information there, but just making sure that your nurse, your doctor really explains the medication and maybe some common misconceptions with hypertension and medication. So thank you for bringing all of that up, Maria. Maria Vasquez, please feel free to share your feedback.
Sí, iba a recalcar ese punto que hizo ella de la
Yes, I was actually going to highlight the point that she made about how important it is that the doctor and nurse explain to us if at some point in time as patients we are able to know what the consequences are if we don't take the medicine. If we stop taking it, what would be the consequence? But there's another thing that I have noted in the clinic where I am. Many of the people there are even afraid of asking those that are heading the front desk, because sometimes they don't have not even a little bit of empathy with those who are ill that are arriving. And they say, just wait your turn. And sometimes sit down, and I don't know, we could be sitting down 2 hours. You haven't called my name. can you please explain to me, like, or just tell me how much longer, or give me an idea? Because they give you an appointment for a certain time, and even if you get there early, there's still the time where you're right 30 minutes early, and then an hour later they haven't even called your name. So it does get, I think that the staff at the front of the house, sometimes for them it might be, instead of having that warmth when you are received, like, oh, hold on a moment, I'll take care of you just a moment, just give me a minute. No, you don't get that. We feel intimidated, and they don't. If you're feeling that way, you don't want to ask any questions. It's very I think feeling like you're part of it and it fitting in. And I've arrived to many places to where for the very beginning, there's a good morning, Miss Juanita, or whatever. How are you? Or we're going to be with you in just a minute, and the doctor will see you soon. Just give me a moment, have a seat. That's different. You take it, you feel better. And when the patient's coming in, even those who are at the front of the house, being nice, they're being kind, but the people in the front of the house can make you feel like intimidated. And you have all helped us bring this to our hands. And all what we're doing now is just, for me, so gratifying. We are learning in different ways, not only how to care for ourselves, but to teach people who are interested in learning and know, and tell them, hey, we have this, we have that. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Maria, for sharing. I appreciate you speaking on empathy and how important that is, and how patients sometimes might feel intimidated. And I think that's important, because we oftentimes may think that, everyone is just able to speak for themselves. Everyone is able to, even if there's translation services, we are all able to get what we need. And sometimes folks, patients, families, caregivers feel intimidated, and we don't often voice that. So thank you, Maria, for sharing that. And I just want to open it up to Michelle or Olivia, if there's anything you would like to share with Myra. If not, that is totally okay. We will keep this conversation going as well. And if there's anything else that comes up for anyone else, Maria Montes, Maria Vasquez, for Michelle, for Olivia, if there's anything that comes up later, I'm sure Myra would greatly appreciate more feedback. We can get that to her, and we can keep this conversation.
Gracias.
Sí, Olivia, Olivia, está bien.
Sí, me gustaría
Yes, I only want to say that it is true. I was listening to Maria Montes, and it is so very important to underline the fact that our health is our responsibility. So we have to take the time to go and care about your own health, because when it's time to help somebody else, you won't be able to if you're not well. So we must start with ourselves. We need to start with ourselves so that we can continue helping others. And the importance of our own health is undeniable. And many times as Latinos, we are guilty of, not taking so many medications. And the truth is, we don't want to take care of ourselves. We don't want to go to the doctor, or we say, oh, I'm not going to take that because somebody told me that it's bad. It has this other side effect, but I have this other natural herb or whatever that's going to work. And there are contradictions and a lot of variations of this. But at the end of the day, I just really think there's a reason why doctors are there. And we need to give them the opportunity. We need to listen and see if, in fact, we have to be interested in our own health. Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Olivia,
you.
for sharing that. Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you bringing up again, some of the misconceptions that go on, and again, sometimes we don't bring that up to the doctor, and it's very important for us to speak and as patients and ask questions when we can. Maria Montes, por favor.
Sí, mis dos compañeras tocaron dos
My,
puntos muy importantes.
okay, the two women that spoke before me and bring up things that are very important. My coworkers, like Maria, when she said that one time it was a receptionist that they were both chatting. They were going back and forth, but they have to have more empathy because they're just talking about their things. And we're standing there waiting to be served. And we don't have that much patience when you're sick, when you're feeling ill. I really don't want to hear about her whole life story. I'm interested in getting helped. So I think at work, they need to have more respect. Like in any job, you're not supposed to be on your cell phone or having these conversations. Like at school, you can't be sitting there talking to your friends at school while the teacher's talking. Well, I think the doctor's office should be the same, even though the receptionists are not right in front of you. But since they are in the waiting room, they must be careful about the subjects they talk about. Sometimes they think, and this has happened to me, I have a lot of experience in this. They believe that because you don't speak English, you're just don't understand anything. And they say some amazing things. And we do realize, and we know what it is. That, like Maria says, we're intimidated. And honestly, I put complaints in my own clinic. And I would tell the people, listen, tell them what's going on. Because if they don't find out, there will be no change. It's not just to complain. Yes, be thankful for what you're getting, but do tell them what they're doing wrong. For example, if you ask me to do something at my job, I'm going to have respect, not only for myself, but for the people that surround me and for my work. And Olivia said this also. Olivia, I'm trying to remember, but we do have to have the respect to all peoples, especially educating the staff. Let's train the staff and say, hey, when you want to talk about something in private or an issue like that, wait to have that conversation until you're at lunch or on the phone or when you're home. Remember, we are at work. This is not a social center. I think people lose a lot of faith, and a lot of them don't want to go, and the wait times are huge. Why? This happens to me. For example, one day I showed up to the clinic and they said, oh, you know what? Your doctor had to leave. And for 2 hours, I was saying, is it my turn? Is it my turn? And after 2 hours, I actually even thought that they put me in this program because I'm the one that complains. I don't know, but I got to think that happened because I did say, it doesn't seem fair that if I'm here for more than 2 hours and now the doctor just left. What do you mean she left? These things have happened to me. And just to put a note there and say, hey, you need to realize, and look, I thank you for giving us this opportunity because you are listening to our complaints, but this is the community's complaints. Because thanks to you, we have services. And we also appreciate that you understand that from back then to here, in other words, from the nurses and those who are at the front desk, you know, if my doctor leaves, I should call it. I should tell that person, you know what, don't come in. Or I should come up to her and say, I know you've been waiting for 2 hours, but your doctor had to leave. But just to say nothing, I think all parts have to be really on board with this, on the same page, but to respect you as respect as we get respected, the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. Again, I appreciate all of the feedback, all of the comments. I do see also Michelle. Michelle, you have put some great talking points as well on the chat. I want to be mindful of everyone's time today, but as Lindsay mentioned, we may bring it up in a follow-up email, and just to keep this conversation going. I'm gonna go ahead and just move on to this next part, because I think it has a lot to do with what Maria was talking about, which is your visit and moving through your visit. This is a little bit of, we shared last month, as Mike really just gave us a lot of details about in October of 2022, there was a new survey that came out for patients. And that survey had a few different domains. We focused in our meeting on access and moving through your visit. These were some of the questions that we went over during our last meeting, and I just wanted to bring that up now, because we ended up creating our own survey to have our community members, our hub members answer. Now, we've only gotten a few responses, but we would love to hear everyone's feedback, everyone's thoughts. And as Maria was talking about, she was just talking about her visits and how she's had positive ones and not so positive ones. This would be a great opportunity for you all to share that experience. So once again, we'd love to hear your thoughts. I know Lindsay is putting the link on the chat. If you have the opportunity to follow that link when we are finished here, or I can also share it in the follow-up email after our meeting, that would be greatly appreciated. And again, this is just an example of the questions that we asked and we covered during our last meeting. We talked in detail about all of this, but we'd love to hear again the hub members and their thoughts and feedback on this. So thank you all. And then once again, we are going to continue to post on the forum as it becomes available. I will send out a message when we have a new post up. So that, again, is another opportunity for us to share, for us to continue our conversations. Again, as you can see now, we start our conversations and we would like to continue. We would like to continue as much as possible. So we will let all of you know when there is a new post available. And last but not least, I will hand it over to Lindsay so she can go ahead and talk to us about celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah, just really quickly. First of all, thank you everyone for your just really impactful messages today. I think they really resonate with a lot of us and then the work that is going on at DHS. So thank you. And happy National Hispanic Heritage Month. The month started September 15th and will go through October 15th. Our organization will be recognizing this month on an upcoming Patient Family Advisor Network, or PFA Network, coffee chat on Friday, October 20th. So a few days after the month ends, but we still want to take that time to recognize it. So we'd like to invite you all to join and participate in that coffee chat. It's just a time to bring your coffee and chat with others with the same passions as all of you. So we will send out the registration link and follow up, and hopefully look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. And just before we end our next conversation, we had such a great conversation today. I hope you're all able to join us next month as well. Our next community conversation is October 17th, and it's going to be at the same time. So once again, we hope you're able to join us. We will send a follow-up email to all of you. And as you all may see, I also send a reminder email so you all can register for next month as well. But if there are no questions for now, thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your month, and I hope to see everyone October 17th. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias a ustedes por escucharnos y porque quieren mejorar la salud de todas las personas.
Thank you for not only listening to us, but for wanting to improve everyone's health. Thank you again so much.
Thank
Gracias.
you.
Gracias.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.